What's up, buddies, and welcome to Elk Don't Exist, the podcast, a comedy and humor forward hunting podcast. I wanted to create the podcast about hunting that was more entertaining, less tips and tricks and tactics, and just more like sharing campfire stories with your buddies. So welcome. I'm very glad to have you. This podcast, as always, is brought to you by OnX Maps, OnX Hunt specifically. As some of you know, I just killed my first ever bull with a bow. It took me 12 years. That's where the whole Elk Don't Exist mantra and mindset and brand came from, is how freaking difficult it is to kill an elk with your bow. OnX was pivotal on this elk hunt, especially the LiDAR feature. If I heard bugles in the morning or glassed elk, depending on time of day, I was able to open my maps and get a really good estimate to where those elk were either going or coming from based on LiDAR. It's like your topo map with infinitely more detail. You can see little benches where they might be bedding and this, that, and the other thing. OnX rules, I don't have to tell you twice. Sign up, get Elite, you get all 50 states, you get amazing gear deals. Big shout out to OnX for making this podcast possible. We're also brought to you by Tricer. Tricer makes lightweight glassing systems, bipods. I have their new bipod right here. And I have had this in my hands since the first prototype back in early March. And I don't know what else to say about it. It's 15 ounces. You get a set of long legs, which go from 8 inches to 30 inches. So you're completely covered prone to sitting, kneeling. One throw lever for your cant and 360 degrees of panning. You get a Picatinny quick release plate as well as an Arca quick release plate out of the box. Rubber feet, set of short legs, metal claw feet. It's infinitely adjustable. It covers dang near every shooting position except for standing. I love this thing. And you can use code dillonsucks, my favorite code ever, or EDE, that's Elk Don't Exist, phonetically. Is that how you say that? EDE10 saves you money and supports the channel on one of these. My camera and everything else is set up on Tricer tripods. When you have something that makes glassing more fun, when you have a tool that makes glassing more doable, you find more animals, and if you're not me, you kill more animals. So huge shout out to Tricer. They were my first ever sponsor. I'm ride or die for those guys. That's code dillonsucks or EDE10. Saves you 10% off your order. We are also brought to you by Lacrosse Footwear. Big shout out to Lacrosse. I love these guys. I have been using their ES boot even before I was sponsored. I'm not a big fan of buying a $500 pair of boots that are still going to last 2 to 3 years at the most. I've always been buy a $200, $250 boot, lasts you 2 years, and I just consider it an extra hunting expense. This is the ES, extremely lightweight. This is the boot I wore all 2024 season, well over 100 miles on these things, and they're still going strong. Waterproofing is great. They're very comfortable. No boot fits everyone's foot the same, so please get out to your local sporting goods store. Almost dropped it on my face there. Get out to your local sporting goods store, try these on. If they work for you, man, these things are unreal. Huge shout out to Lacrosse for sponsoring the channel. All right, we'll do one more ad and then we'll get into this podcast. We are brought to you by 2O. Everyone out there is making amazing Western hunt apparel. 2O is a newer company, but they've been in the apparel game for over 100 years. And this is their foray into Western hunting apparel. And a little over 2 years ago, they reached out and said, hey, do you want to wear our stuff? And I said, I have to absolutely love it because I'm, wearing $18,000 in Kuiu right now. And if it's not better or equivalent to my Kuiu, it makes no sense for me to wear this. They sent me a bunch of stuff, and man, I've been loving it. It sits at a price point just under the big dogs, and I've been really impressed. And I don't get paid a dime from 2O, just so you guys know. I just really like it. It fits my brand better, being able to provide weekend warriors and blue-collar everyday guys a Western hunting apparel system that isn't going to completely drain their bank account. It's still very quality and still expensive, but not quite at that upper echelon price point. And I've had people from other clothing companies put this merino on that I'm holding now, and they say, man, if I didn't have to wear our stuff, I would be wearing this. This is my favorite merino I've ever worn. And this is their new Kinetic Merino 150 hoodie. It's super lightweight, but gives you a hoodie for those early mornings. You need a little extra heat. This came in clutch on my elk hunt. I was wearing a 150 base layer, and then when it was really cold in the mornings, I'd put this 150 hoodie on top of that, shed it once I get up to the mountain where I want to start glassing or whatever, and it's the softest, best merino I've ever put on. I don't know how they did it, but it's phenomenal. dillonsucks code at 20gear.com saves you like 25%. So on already gear that's already an approachable price point, you can save 20 or 25% with Dillon Sucks. If you're looking for a terrific layering system for Western hunting, give 20 a shot. You won't be disappointed. Guys, welcome back to the Elk Don't Exist podcast. Today I've got an absolute legend, someone I've looked up to and watched his content for years and years and years. Jason Matzinger. What's up, brother?
How are you?
Thanks for coming on the podcast. Obviously, you know elk do exist. I've been struggling for a long, long time. But it's an honor to have you on the show, man. Thanks so much.
I appreciate you having me.
It's cool.
Nice to have you in here.
When I first started kind of just putting joke videos out, you were one of the first guys like in the industry that would comment or DM and just encourage me. And I always appreciated that so much. So I'm like, oh, cool, man. I'm not just speaking into the void. Like, I'm like hopefully being refreshing to guys that have been doing this and seeing all the ins and outs of the industry for years. I'm sure you have, 16 plus years of crazy stories on that. But I just always appreciate how, like at the time I had like 2,000 followers, maybe. No sponsors, like no real direction. I was just having fun doing this. And it was really cool to get the notification of like, oh, Jason Matzinger thinks I'm funny, man. That's awesome. So it's cool to be able to be here and just talk to you for a little bit. So
yeah, well, it was refreshing and it was fun. Always your humor. I remember the first video for me that really stuck out was your shed hunting video.
Oh, yeah.
And I watched that over and over, showed multiple people. I'm like, this is funny because it's actually so true.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. If I'm worse than anything than elk hunting, it's shed hunting. Like one of those things, I devour tips, and what most people don't kind of understand is how obsessed I am with all of this. I'm able to hunt more than the average, way more than the average guy. Like I'm putting the work in, and to have not a lot to show for it, I've devoured all the podcasts, all the tips, all the YouTube videos, just trying like, okay, south slopes. Okay, well no, I can't find anything. North facing bedding areas, when the snow's like this, you can get so deep in it. Champ is hacking up a lung here.
Yeah, my little
That's the
sidekick.
dog, guys. Sorry, bud. It's a bad omen if the dog throws up 5 seconds into our podcast.
No, that's pretty normal for him when he drinks.
Yeah, what's in his little water dish there, Jason? It's a little dark. But yeah, dude, I've like shed hunting is just a slog for me. And like I had the best shed hunting year of my life this year. Found 12 antlers, my first ever set of elk sheds, like first ever elk antler. A week later found the match, and I'm thinking, dude, I figured it out. Like I've got it now. And then I go to Stephen Drake's house, and he's got 600 pounds of elk antlers in his living room. I'm like, dude, how long did it take you to find all these? He's like, oh, this is the keeper pile from the last 2 seasons. Like, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah, that dude's an animal though.
He's a freak. Yeah. So talented. But one of my biggest questions for you is what I've always liked about your films, and you're making like true films, like season after season, year after year. The production value is awesome. And there's just reverence is the word I get when I watch your stuff. Like your voiceovers, you just have such a great reference for it all. And then the more people I talk to, they keep saying, you know, Jason's so much fun. He's hilarious. He's a party animal sometimes. Like, he's so fun to be around. So how do you balance, obviously there is a reference side to hunting and a seriousness and a weight to it. Mm-hmm. How do you keep it light, you know, doing this year after year on those really grindy hunts? How do you like just keep things fun?
Well, I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I never put stress on, I have to fill this tag, or, you know, I failed the hunt, or I failed my partners, or I failed, you know, myself, any of that kind of stuff. I still do it for the reasons now that I did it for when I hunted before, you know, I had a television show or social media was around, which is just the people that I'm with and the experience, and never like taking it too seriously.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I do take my production seriously. I take what I say and the you know, what I post, and I put a lot of thought into like what the diehard, been there, done that type of person would like to see, but also as much thought into somebody that's looking at my television show for the first time to decide what their opinion of hunting is.
Right.
Now, how much does that happen? I don't really know, because it shows up on so many levels, from television to My Outdoor TV to Amazon Prime and Apple and Amazon, or I already said Amazon, like Roku, and it just gets spread.
Right.
And I take that like responsibility very heavy, that no matter where it shows up, when it shows up, that message is clean, concise, and something, you know, I feel the hunting community can be proud of.
Yeah. That's awesome. Do you find that a hard line between, you know, someone new getting into hunting, I want them to be able to watch my stuff and feel included or welcome or learn something, and, you know, the veteran who's seen and done everything, killed everything? Do you find that's kind of like a hard line to navigate sometimes? Because obviously you can't be everything to everybody. You can't appeal to everyone. How do you kind of find that balance point? Or do you even think about it anymore?
No, I do. If it's the television show specifically, it's into high country, I know that for the most part, where that is going to show up is people who seek that content out. They have to subscribe to the network, or they have to, you know, subscribe to the app or something.
Right.
So it's a pretty focused audience when it comes to the television show. Now, when it comes to, say, social media or the documentary films that I do that go out through conservation organizations, that's a different edit to me. You know, I am way more conscious of what the non-hunter and the non-hunting public thinks of what is said in those documentaries than I do in Into High Country. The messaging is much greater in the documentary films than I'm on this hunt after this animal, the end.
Right.
That's basically what Into High Country is, to simplify it.
I love that, because I'll get ripped on sometimes because, you know, if someone pops in the comments and saying, oh, how fun it is for you to kill helpless animals. You know, obviously a non-hunter, and obviously you're never going to change someone's mind on socials or DMs, but the amount of positive interactions I've been able to have by not responding really negatively to them, because I get where they're coming from, you know?
For sure.
When we kill an animal, for me, that just happens a lot less than you. Even you've been around it, you've seen it, you've dealt with it. There's still like this weird, it's a weird mix of emotions, right? There's a sadness, there's a gratitude. It's all of this, and the non-hunter will never be able to understand what that feels like. But the amount of hunters that just will attack, you know, this person, the amount of positive, I'd be like, hey, I totally get where you're coming from. Shoot me a DM if you want to like have a nice talk about it and see where I'm coming from. They are more often so much more ready to like hear the other side of it than when people are just attacking them.
For sure.
And I'm sure, is that kind of your thought process when you're doing the conservation, more documentary stuff? Is that more of an educational kind of vibe?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I want. Like, I think it's important to not only teach people how hunting is conservation and what our role is in kind of today's society and why it's still important for the future of wildlife management, but, you know, I lost my train of thought. Can you ask me the question?
It's a tough question. Like, I guess
I had a good point. I just lost it.
I guess what I was like trying to frame is I wish hunters were less prone to just attack. Like we eat our own. We're famous for that.
Okay, I know where I was going now.
But especially with like a diehard anti-hunter. And I'm not talking about the ones that wish death upon your children, like kick rocks. You can't respond to them.
Right.
But it's the ones that seem to be more likely like, hey, I just don't understand this. I have had so much great interaction saying, if you would like to understand where I'm coming from, hop in the DMs. Here's my phone number. Call me. I've had so many positive reactions where it's still like, hunting's not for me, but thank you because I see the other side of it.
Sure. I think that's what I was thinking was with the documentaries, I like to educate our own army on our importance and why our role still matters. So when we have those conversations with people who are trying to learn and understand, we make important points and things that really make the light bulb come on for them. Like, wow, I never really thought about it in that light. And that usually comes from, learning the history of trophy hunting, learning the management of a certain species, all that kind of stuff. So when somebody does kind of attack you, you don't feel like it's something you can't respond professionally.
You don't have to take it personally.
Right. No, you can say, I get where you're coming from, but the reality is this, and this.
Look at the numbers.
Yeah.
Look at elk numbers before we had like a hunting system in place versus after. Like, we love these hunters these animals more than you could ever possibly understand. But that's such a hard concept because it's so hard for them to get past, but you kill them. Right. That's challenging.
In Project Elk, my first documentary, like full length, I actually had an anti-hunter on as one of the people we interviewed. She was a professor.
Oh, cool.
And so she just brought a lot of very unique perspectives. But what I appreciated about it was we learn what they don't like about us, like on a very professional level, not an attack on social media level, but on a high level. What really are we up against?
A discourse.
Yeah. What are the challenges? Where do we not agree on a high level? And so I think that was part of kind of educating us is like, no, hear them out, because then we can be better to kind of defuse the things that they don't like, because we're in this together. Them and us.
We both love the animals.
Exactly. Yeah. And the things that, when you stack up, the things that we value, like, open space, high quality water, quality of living, I mean, it gets right down to the very littlest things that separate us. And helping understand and define those things just helps lighten the kind of weight of those conversations and makes them go, okay, well, I can see, this guy's intelligent, knows what he's talking about, and respects my point of view. And it does go a long ways. Where I've fielded probably the most comments from true antis over the years has been on my bear hunts, my bear photos in general. And once they learn
Disney movies, I think bears talk still. It's like,
there's a lot of...
Look at how many calves a black bear will crush, year after year after year. Like, they're vicious predators.
For sure. But I mean, I think the greatest misunderstanding is people think bear hunting is you straight up, you go out, you kill a bear, you cut off its head and hide, and you leave it.
Yeah.
And so once you explain, like, no, bears are actually one of the few animals over-the-counter tag that in Montana you have to go to the fishing game and check it in.
Right.
They record age, they check for disease. Hunters actually help Fish, Wildlife, and Parks monitor herd health, population status, disease, all of this kind of stuff. They don't have the funding to put that many people into the woods observing what's going on. So once you explain that, and then you also explain that, no, you have to use the meat. Yeah. You have to use everything just like an elk. And by the way, it makes great breakfast sausage and chorizo.
It's my wife's favorite. She's not a big wild game person. Mountain lion and black bear are two favorites.
See, every time he drinks.
Champ hates black bear. He can't even hear us talk about it. Hey, Champ.
But no, so I think you're 100% correct. It's you can tell the ones that you might have a quality conversation with, and usually that's pretty fun. I enjoy those conversations, actually. And you can tell the ones that don't.
Yeah, and I think it's just like kind of the political spectrum, and I'm not a political guy, but you know, if you watch the news, if you're on social media too much, you think everyone just hates each other, when the vast majority of us live somewhere in here. Like some of my best friends are like liberal, and we call each other gay, and your viewpoint sucks, and then we play video games together and we laugh, and it's great. And some of them are coming hunting with me this year for the first time. So like it is possible to disagree and still be friends, kind of hoping for the same outcome of a certain situation, you know. And I think it kind of the same goes like the crazy, you know, anti-hunters that hope that you die in the same way the elk did or whatever.
Right.
Like, I hope I die that quick, you know? Well, unless I'm shooting at an elk, then it's sometimes slower, but I don't know, you get what I mean? Like more people are willing, but then you just find like intelligent people that want to talk aren't the ones leaving comments on posts.
Correct.
For the most part.
For the most part, you're right. Yeah.
So I don't know, it's easy to get caught up in that whole world. And you've been in the game, we'll call it, for a long time. Have you noticed like an uptick in animosity between hunters themselves, like more campiness, more tribalism? Yeah. Has that increased, or has it always kind of been like that?
I just feel like it's increased over my lifetime.
Probably due to social media.
Yeah. It just creates a space for people to disagree that normally would never even have the conversation. They may feel that way, but I feel like hunters have always been divided in different tactics or things, but you know, I've definitely seen a change in like who the role models are and who people look up to and people's, you know, kind of perspective of people that make a living at doing this, or, you know, it's just a lot of things have changed.
Right.
That being said, you know, after 16 years of doing this, I enjoy it as much as I ever have. The television show is doing as good as it's ever have. I love all my partners. Like, you know, I was telling you before we started recording, like I just love the natural evolution of the show with kind of where I'm at as a hunter and evolving, and kind of what I'm after has changed since 16 years ago when I started. And now I have the kids coming in, which that just brings a whole new fire in me, which is kind of a different me when I see myself with them. And, and so it's fun to see that, and, you know, hunting with Tara, and just my dad, like only going hunting now to just see his grandkids hunt and not really ever pulling the trigger. And there's just, you know, I'm telling a real story about the evolution of a hunter through into high country. And for the first time this year, I actually really see that big change. That's you know, awesome. And it just naturally happened. And so I'm really excited about this year's show. I mean, I'm excited about every year, but this year's just different. It feels different to me.
That's awesome, man.
Can I let this dog out? Yeah, he's driving me nuts.
Enjoy this ad from one of our great sponsors. The dog's just scratching on the door, throwing up. Let's talk about Maven optics. I switched everything over to Maven optics about 1.5 years ago, and I love them. As I tell people, if you have Swarovski money, hell yeah, dude, buy a Swarovski. If you don't, high-end Japanese glass versus high-end European glass, my eye can't really tell the difference, if I'm being honest for you. This is 1/3 of the price. Maven stuff is 1/3 of the price of Swarovski, and like half of the price of some of other companies' higher end optics. And I want to specifically shout out this. This is the new Maven M2. This is a monocular, and I never thought I'd ever be a monocular guy. And they sent this to me. This is their high-end Japanese glass. It's $500, which is an awesome price point for something like this. And it is a 12 by 50 monocular. But I think of it more as a mini spotting scope. So this stays in my truck, and when I'm out glassing, you know, ag fields for whitetails before they go up to public land or whatever, this is on my window mount, and I can get great footage through this with my digiscope, or just glass with this instead of having to have my like big 18 by 50 binos on a window mount. This is really, really light and really, really short form factor. So, but I also use this because for elk hunting, when I wanted to stay light, I used my 9 power binos instead of my 12s often. And when I was sitting down to glass and I wanted to reach out a little more, I would just keep this little guy in my hip belt, and I put a Tricer NS4 little aluminum Arca clamp on it so that I can throw it in my tripod. And then I have a little tiny mini spotting scope if I want a little bit more reach. And it weighs like nothing, especially compared to carrying a big spotting scope or another pair of high power binoculars. I could just keep this in my hip belt, take it out, plant it on my Tricer tripod, and this thing worked out great. But the rifle scopes are amazing. I shoot the RS 3.2, and yeah, for the money, they're a direct-to-consumer company with still a world-class warranty. The build quality is really good. The glass quality is amazing, and it's a fraction of the price of other guys because these are not in retail stores, and that saves you a whole bunch of money on really, really high-end glass. So check Maven out. Big fan. Thank you for sponsoring the podcast and just sponsoring the lifestyle. Also, huge shout out to Barnes Bullets, Barnes Ammunition. This is the new Harvest collection. I just got my Seekins 6.5 PRC. My 7th, 8th, and 9th shots, so my first group out of the gun after zeroing the rifle, shot a 1/2-inch group. And the coolest thing about Barnes, they're known for their monolithic solid copper bullets, but they wanted to create something that was more of a lead core bullet, rapid expansion for thin-skinned, medium-skinned game. Which I really like. So I got this 6.5 PRC from Seekins as my dedicated deer rifle, something with really low recoil. I'll take this bear hunting, but out of a brand new barrel. With the other thing with this is it's $40 to $45 a box in all the most popular calibers. So it's very affordable, and I'm still getting 1/2-inch groups out of it. Crappy shooter, brand new gun, brand new barrel. I've been super impressed with these, and I can't wait to try them out during deer season. So shout out to Barnes for sponsoring the podcast. And also shout out to Seekins Precision. They sent me the PH3, and I'm doing a really cool project this fall where I'm taking brand new hunters out for their first ever deer hunt. I'm so excited about it. I pitched that idea to Seekins kind of on a whim. It was a 5-minute phone call, and they said, hell yeah. We'll send you 3 brand new rifles for these 3 hunters you're going to take out. They've been amazing to work with. Shout out to Maddie from Seekins and Sarah from Seekins. But yeah, just got the new Seekins PH3. It has a 60-degree bolt throw. It's a $1,900 gun, and I'm convinced for that price point, this is far and away the best off-the-shelf rifle that money can buy. It has a complete M-LOK forend, so any kind of attachment you want to put, Picatinny Arca, it's all M-LOK on the forend, 60-degree bolt throw. The Picatinny rail for your scope rings is built right into the action, so you don't have to worry about a pick rail coming loose over time. The bolt just wants to close. It's like spring-loaded, so as you shut it, it just wants to close. You can run that bolt super hard, super fast. I got it in a 20-inch barrel, and so impressed. 1/2-inch gun before even breaking it in, before trying other ammo. I'm just through the moon. If you're saving up for a rifle and you got $2,000, man, you'd be hard pressed to beat Seekins, I think. Their reputation is glowing. Their customer service is world class, and they don't have an accuracy guarantee. They have a satisfaction guarantee, which I really love. So if 1/2 inch is not satisfactory to you, you can send it back and they're going to take care of you. They're going to figure out if the gun has a problem or not, which you just never hear of Seekins rifles coming back anyways. They are world class. They're the real deal. Check them out. Put a Maven scope on top of it. You'll be very, very happy. Also, shout out to Shoot Banish. Banish Supressors. They sent me the Banish 30 V2 for this deer rifle build. and it's lighter than the V1. It's somehow quieter than the V1. If you've never shot with a suppressor, don't buy anything else until you put a suppressor on your gun. It makes it more or less hearing safe, just you don't get that concussive blast. For me, a guy that struggled with a flinch for many, many years, it helps me make better shots because I'm not anticipating that loud concussive blast. And it takes away 30-40% of recoil. So enhanced shootability, the quietness. I mean, everyone's going towards suppressors. Don't wait. If you go through Silencer Central right now, they're covering your tax stamp too. There's never been a better time. Don't buy 3 new hunting jackets. Save your money and get a suppressor and thank me later. So huge shout out to those guys. I think that's everyone. And of course, elkdon'texist.com. I wore the black on black Elk Don't Exist hat, and I'm convinced it's lucky. I was wearing that this entire season, and I will never be hunting without it again. Remind yourself to take yourself less seriously, have more fun. It's a great conversation starter, and it supports me a ton. That's how I make the majority of my money, is through elkdon'texist.com. My profit margins are extremely small while still being able to offer very quality pieces of gear. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme for me. This is more of a way to build brand awareness, to invite others to join this club of mediocre hunters that just want to have more fun and learn how to be more successful. So elkdon'texist.com.
Yeah, on the topic of hunting with your boys, you have 2?
2. Yeah.
2. What are their
Dawson
ages
and
now?
Asher. 17 and 11.
Okay, awesome. Did they, because I've got a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they were both with me. The older one has come out with me a couple times on like deer hunts, simple, going to try to fill a doe tag or something, just to get him experience. And, it was, hey, when we go out, you get treats at the gas station with me. I have no problem bribing them to get out in the woods with me. Don't care, man. I just want them to associate being outside with having fun and seeing dad be the funnest and not worried about bills and mortgage and, the stressors of life or the business side of this stuff, which I'm very green with all this stuff. I'm the guy going into trade shows going, isn't this amazing, guys? And everyone's just cynical and, stay away from that person. Oh, this person sucks. I'm like, I thought I graduated in high school in 2009. I guess we're still in that,
I always said going to ATA reminded me of the scene in Anchorman in the alleyway
the
where
fight
they all
scene?
meet. Yeah, that's
Where
like
did
kind
you
of.
get a hand grenade?
It's kind of like, oh, you shoot from Matthews. Morocco.
So silly, man. Every company is making great stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I have friends that spread across it all. I value people and fun for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like everything's so good. It's like, what company do you like the most? But for people to say like, this bow shoots the best, or this bow shoots the best, and obviously Prime shoots the best bows. I'm shooting an Elite now.
That.
I was talking to you like, dude, how do you get a archery company to get back to you? Like, it's so different from the rifle world. I've got a really awesome project where I'm taking, damn near middle-aged men out hunting for the first time. And they're all from radically different backgrounds, computer geek, anime lovers, one-handed Asian guy, like just radically different backgrounds, hunting for the first time with me. And I call a couple rifle companies, talk to Seekins Precision. I'm like, hey, I'm doing this thing. I have no business asking for a $2,000 rifle for these guys, but I want to kit them out head to toe if they choose to continue hunting. And it was a 2-minute phone call. Yep, easiest yes of our life, send your FFL information. That's the rifle world, you know? Archery is like a bar fight, I feel like, it's so different. But some random, I've been talking to you like, do you got any connections anywhere? I need a bow and I'm not spending $3,000 on a bow. I'll buy another rifle at that point because I can actually kill stuff with the rifle. And some random archery shop, I posted, a buddy of mine had this like 14-year-old kid that was working with him and wanted to get into hunting archery. And my friend texted me like, do you know anyone with a bow for this kid I could buy? Old one, doesn't matter. I'm like, I'll do you one better. And I posted on my Instagram story, this kid needs a bow. Has anyone got a bow I can buy from him or that you can send him? And within an hour, this random archery shop, like it had got shared enough, little archery shop in Phoenix, Arizona. Shout out to Arizona Archery Club. Freaking awesome. DM'd me and said, we have a brand new ready to shoot bow. What's the address? And within like a couple hours, they had it on the way to them.
Dang.
So
That's
cool.
awesome.
And those guys heard I was looking for a bow, sent me a brand new Elite Ethos. And I haven't had a new bow since 2017. So
Right on.
it feels so good to shoot. But yeah, trying to get into some of these companies, man, is so brutal, especially in the archery world. And I don't know why that's different. But
well, it's just, yeah. I mean, I've been with Prime now almost that entire 16 years. There's maybe 1 or 2 years in the beginning of the show. They weren't an official partner, even though I had, was well aware of them.
yeah,
And so I just feel like it's such a harder conversation now. I mean, there was literally no social media. YouTube wasn't a thing.
right.
If you weren't like writing articles for a top-notch magazine
Or
have
on
a
the outdoor
television
channel.
show,
Yeah,
you just flat didn't have a platform.
right.
And now, these companies are spread. They're trying to check all the boxes.
Right.
And so there's just a lot more competition, and it's really good.
Yeah.
I mean,
think
every
it's
year
great.
I go to the Badlands Film Fest and sit there and watch, and every year that goes by, it's like, oh, these guys are good.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
this is really, really good stuff. And every year that bar just gets tighter and tighter. And yeah, it's fun to watch. But I think that's just part of it. There's just so much. It's pretty saturated, and it's tough to figure out what's going to kind of make people want to watch what you do versus other people.
Yeah, and
I think just being authentic, which you are, is
that's all I got, brother.
that's
all I
all
got
any
is
of us have at the end of
Honesty.
the day. Is
Yeah, is
we
you.
are.
Yep.
Right.
That's why I tell people are like, how did you get? And I feel like this is the analogy I use all the time. Is people are like, how'd you get into the industry? I'm like, I'm not in it. I've got a seat at the kids' table. And I like that. I just get to eavesdrop on the adults and the good hunters talk and just learn about business and entrepreneurship and how to still love hunting when you've been all over the map. And there's some guys are honest and feel a lot of pressure with filming, like I've got to kill, and they have to wrestle with that. And it's nice to hear that side of things. But I'm like, literally, dude, I'm not a good hunter. Working very hard at it, obviously. I got into it fell in love with it really late in life. I'll say that. So the learning curve was very slow, trying to figure it out on my own. The goal was never to get into the industry. It wasn't until I just started putting myself out there where people are like, we like that this guy sucks at elk hunting. We don't actually want to see you kill elk. One of us, But that's literally all it is, so personality driven. Yeah. So if you can find that niche, that's what I tell people with whatever industry. It is not difficult to start making a little money in pretty much any hobby you have with the internet. If you can be yourself, there's some little guidelines, but even then the algorithm changes so much that to say this is how you do it isn't real. The one constant, and it's so cliche, is you have to just be you, not who you want to be, not how you want to be seen, but truly, if you put you out there, because no one else can replicate that. And if you're trying to replicate someone else, people sniff that out from a mile away, oh, he's trying to be the next whoever.
Sure.
I don't know who you are,
Right.
It's the only
Correct.
reason people watch my stuff is, oh, we want to see Dillon, screw this one up or whatever. But yeah, that's very true. But back to the kid stuff. My two boys were with me. It was the 4-year-old's first time doing a big boy hunt, versus just doing little hikes around or whatever. And it was so rewarding just to, keep looking over my shoulder. And we were just after a doe, easy hunt, snow on the ground. It was a little bit cold, but they all bundled up walking like this.
Right.
I kept looking over my shoulder and seeing my 9-year-old, with his arm around his little brother, pointing at tracks in the snow, going, this is how Dad told me that you can tell it's walking this way. Because he's teaching him the little things that I've taught him We ended up filling that tag, and they were just jacked about it. So cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If we have a successful hunt, we get slushies at the gas station, so they have some incentive to like, Dad, shoot that one, you know?
Right.
And it was awesome, but part of me is like, man, I don't know if they're gonna love this like I do, and that is perfectly fine. That's
Right.
totally okay. I want them to have some skills, so there will be times where I push them a little bit, probably.
Sure.
But you know, 9-year-old shot his first rifle the other day. 22 arc, doesn't kick at all, suppressed. And my dad was handing me a 30-06 as a 115-pound, just getting my ass kicked by this rifle, developing a flinch. And it's like, my dad didn't make sure I had a $1,000 suppressor on the end of the gun, you know, to make it quiet and
No,
easy.
none
and
of that.
Zero kick. It feels like someone's tapping you on the shoulder. And man, the anticipation of it, just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. He was terrified. Gun went off, perfect bullseye at 100 yards. I was like, yeah, dude. See, wasn't that great? Just sobbing. Like, it scared him so bad. I'm like, oh, no. Like, what? As a dad, it's like, where do I know how to... No, you got this, dude. You've done scarier things. Way scarier things. And where to relinquish that and try again later. Like, when did you see all that to say, when did you start seeing your boys like really take an interest in it? Because they've been hunting with you quite a bit now, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they've been...
Or more like
it.
wanting to go more? Is that fair to say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the 11-year-old Asher, I mean, he was like the hound dog that doesn't let go until it's followed, seen the old ones go ahead and tree the lion over and over and over. So he was itching, for youth season last year, which is one of my favorite episodes of this season, is his first mule deer hunt. We worked hard to find an old mature buck and really fun hunt. And it's the first time that I've had a camera guy go with me on my kids' hunt.
Interesting. Did they feel like extra pressure with that, or have they kind of been around it enough?
They've been around it enough. And it kind
seasoned
of...
vets.
Yeah. I mean, I've always had a camera along, but I never wanted like having a camera guy along to make it feel like we're not doing the true father-son hunt.
Got you. Yeah.
And there's just random guy following us along, and they might say or be nervous or whatever. So for years, I never would take the camera or a camera guy with me, so that I never actually got to see like me with them. It was always clips of them or kind of what I could film during the hunt. And then I remember my youngest son, I told him, I said, no, it's just going to be us going to film. And he's like, well, isn't this hunt important enough to like have a camera guy come along? Because you take him on all your hunts. And I'm like, no, it's just because I want it to be special for you and not make you feel like the pressure. And he's like, and I was like, do you want him to come along? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, put me on an episode.
Yeah, and he's been like pumped about it. Where my older son, he's kind of that classic, grew up on a ranch kid in Montana that's just kind of like, yeah, I'll go hunt an elk if I get a chance. But, he likes to hunt, but I don't see as much fire in him as I do my youngest son.
Gotcha. I kind of think that's how it's going to be with mine. An older son, artist, poet, beautifully sensitive, or a young little romantic, And we'll see. And I tell him all the time, like, I'm never going to force you to go hunting. I just want you to be comfortable out there. Like, I want you to know, like, God forbid, I'm not a doomsday prepper or anything like that, but God forbid, like, we can't go to a grocery store. I want you to know how to do these things. So even if you hate it, there probably will be a hunt or two where I like kind of make you just so you know what you're doing, and then no pressure's off. Yeah. So, because like hunting with my dad was not fun. It was, if you step on a stick, man, you're going to get the classic look back and we still hunting? Like, I'm doing my best, Dad. I got funner as we got older, but I just didn't want them to feel that kind of pressure. I just want them to associate outside with Dad is so fun. Right. Even if it's not my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Was there ever a time where you felt like you had to push maybe a little bit, or was it just kind of naturally They wanted to do what Dad does.
Yeah. There was never really a push. I mean, the hardest thing now is my 17-year-old's going to be a senior in high school here soon. And he's playing varsity football, and he's got his truck and his dirt bike and chasing girls, you know. So that's the more push is like, no, we only have a few weekends. We have to make it happen in these days, you know. And he's got a really good rifle elk tag he drew this year, so I'm excited about that.
Is that here in Montana?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. I could guess the one probably.
So, yeah.
How cool is that? Pumped. Is he excited about it?
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
This is the most excited I've seen him about any single hunt that we've kind of before getting there, you know.
Will he go hunt by himself yet?
Actually, the first elk he ever shot, he was not with me. Well, it's the only elk he's ever shot. He was with his stepdad and called me and just, Dad, guess what? I shot my first elk. And so they kind of gave me their location. And so I bombed over there and,
that's awesome.
You know, helped him skin it out and take care of the elk and all of that. So
that's so cool.
But aside from that, last year, he and a buddy kind of started to get into chasing elk with a bow. They got into a few bugles and they kind of felt it, you know?
It's that first bugle that rattles your chest a little bit where you're like, oh, I will quit any career, any job for this. Like, just captures you.
Yeah. So I kind of saw that switch in him last year where I got the call like, Dad, we just heard bulls bugling. Do you have a backpack I can borrow? And if I go to the house, do you have just
how cool is that?
A headlamp and a bugle and a cow call and all this stuff. And so he FaceTimed me the next night, and him and his buddy, it was pretty pitch black. So they were done hunting, but you could hear the bulls bugling. And they were just like, oh, what should we have done different? And
dude, that is awesome.
So he's starting to go a little bit, but it's been pretty minimal. He's so busy. My ex-in-laws, his mother's family, own a big ranch over in the Shields Valley. And so he's constantly working. I mean, like, I've barely seen him this summer because he's been swathing and baling. And
I mean, if he's got that work ethic.
Oh, he is a hard-working kid.
Like, he's going to be an amazing
no
hunter.
With it.
He's going to be a killer.
He's a hard-working kid. There's no getting him out of bed to hop on a tractor or pound nails or whatever you ask him to do. He's a hard worker.
That is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well done on that side of things. I might need some tips on that too.
Well, I wish I could take all the credit. The ranch, it keeps him busy.
So. There's something special about farm kids.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a heck of a way to grow up.
They make great wrestlers, great hunters.
They understand the circle of life like fully, how it provides, caring for it, providing just the full. They're very down to earth people.
9-year-old to a farm somewhere for a couple years.
It's
toughen them up a little bit.
Exactly. I feel that way about the 11-year-old sometimes. Like, we're just going to go offer to help somebody fix fence somewhere. Yeah. That's good for him. I love that lifestyle. I really admire it.
Yeah, that's all my dad talks about. He's like, I just want to live on a ranch. I want to milk cows. I just want farm animals in space. I'm like, I want that for you too, so I can hunt it. He kind of quit hunting when we kind of left the house. And growing up hunting was like, you shoot your deer, whatever, first deer that walks out. Cool, got our deer for the year. We have smokies in the freezer. And then you move on to sports and everything else. It wasn't until I started hunting by myself that I fell in love with it. And it became like all-consuming for me.
Sure.
But my dad stopped hunting because he's like, your mom doesn't really eat venison. But the more I'm talking to him lately, he's like, man, I just miss that freedom. I miss getting close to an elk and just watching it. Like, maybe I'll buy a camera and just take photos. Like, I want that for you, Pop. And I want you to come out with me more. And so it's cool you're getting that experience with your boys. And I really just hope and pray that even if it's not their favorite thing in the world to do, I just want those experiences with them. Because there's nothing like that. Even like going with a bunch of buddies on a big backcountry trip on horses. Like the bonding that happens, the jokes, the ripping on each other, all of it, man. It's like the most freeing thing you can do in this current climate, I guess.
Yeah, it's very real. Yes.
That's awesome. How much time do you have, brother? I want to be sensitive. It's 1:47.
Yeah, so we're
Do you
good
have
for a
time?
little bit.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
My favorite thing to ask is, we see you and, all these other guys that make films just experience awesome stuff, and you see some of the roller coaster ride. What is, even from before your TV days, the worst hunting screw up that's ever happened to you? Or the first one that comes to mind that's like, I'll never forget that one.
Well,
You're like, can I tell this one on camera?
no, it's nothing like that. I'm trying to think if there's one that's like exceptionally bad for one reason or the other.
Because it's what's been most encouraging to me. The more you talk to guys that have done this forever, you just assume they never miss, they never wound.
No. Lots of those are coming
never
to
blow
mind.
a stock. Okay.
I'm thinking there's got to be worse than just misses. I've definitely missed a ton. I'm trying to think if there's anything that's just above and beyond, like a cool story.
Boneheaded move, or the big one that got away.
Well, the one that when you first mentioned it comes to mind is I was really young. I'd never shot my first bear in Montana yet, and I was hunting solo. I was by myself, and I was like grinding it out.
Yeah. Every bear season is a freaking grind.
I just started figuring out how to find bears, and I was buried back in this hole, like way further in than I really needed to be. By myself, I had like a little, I don't know if it was still a flip, it might have been a flip phone, but anyway, super old cell phone. And I'll never forget, I was set up on this canyon and kind of thick, rocky stuff across from me, and I look up, and there's a bear that just appeared. I mean, I had been sitting there watching the hillside for a couple hours, and it must have been bedded down because it was just there. And I'm like, oh my God, this might be my chance at the very first bear I've ever taken in my entire life.
Wow.
And so
there's something about that first bear that screws with you so bad.
I remember ranging, and it was like 580 yards, but the bear started walking, and he's going to the back of the canyon, and it's steep, and I'm on this side. And as we're both going this way, we're getting closer because we're getting to the head of the canyon. So I'm like paralleling him. Well, it's getting dark, and I have to like make a move fast. And so I just bomb off of this ridge that I'm on, and I'm like running as fast as I can run down off the hill, like out of control running to the point where I hit this big rock slide, like of big scree boulders and stuff. And I was going so fast. Oh no. I went into this boulder field like a wild man and ended up like losing my balance forward and just face planting right in the rocks, and my rifle just like slamming down in the rocks. No. And I mean, it like rattled my cage. I went down hard. All my knuckles were skinned up because I just went down on them. And the stock of my rifle and everything is all messed up.
Oh no. And this is before the time where long range shooting was very accessible, probably.
Oh, right? Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I've never been a long range shooter personally. Like, I've never fancied myself as a guy that can hit things a long ways out.
Right. I had to learn the hard way the last couple of years. I don't care how much steel you can ring at 700 yards. Shooting at an animal at that range is a completely different thing.
Sure.
Like I'll go out 10 out of 10 at 700. That's my range. And then you pull up on an animal at that range, and you see your heartbeat just doing this to your. I was like, let's get a little closer. It's a totally different game.
But yeah, so I end up just face planting, rifle going down, just complete yard sale in these rocks. And I remember I get up and I like gather myself, and I'm like rattled. Yeah. And I look up, and the bear's still just like taking on that path. Going. He has no idea I'm there. Right. And so I gather my stuff, and I run, and I get to like 350 yards, and it's like, it's now or never, because this bear's going to go around this ridge, and I don't have time to make the ground I need to come around. Right. And now I'm like, I sure hope my rifle's still on. This is the first chance I've ever had at a Montana black bear in my life. And I just ate it. So I'm like, I got to take the shot.
Yeah.
I was probably 16 years old, something like that, 18 maybe, somewhere around in there. And I sit down and boom.
Just off a knee at 350?
No, I had like a branch, like a
okay.
tree right here and
yeah.
a branch. And I kind of like wedged in and sat against the hill and boom.
Aim a little bit
I
high.
shoot and I see the bear like look like underneath him. And I can't tell like if he's hit. I just didn't know bears enough at that time to like read it. I didn't think he was hit, which he was not. And I shot low. Well, I'm like, well, is my gun low or did I miss low? So the bear takes off running and I shot like 2 more times going across. And I thought I hit him. So the next day I formed this whole posse of my buddies to go up in there like, we're going to find this bear. I had him.
Still just bruised and skinned up.
Yeah. Oh. And we got up there and we found, it was still early in the spring. We found his tracks and followed him and found like a couple little specks of blood to the point where you're like, I don't know if this is even from a bullet or if like he cut his pad walking or something. Like it wasn't bleeding. You know, we were just like, that's blood and it's snow, you know. So like where we were on his tracks was in the snow where we found the blood. And so it was just, I just miserably failed. I had worked so hard to get the opportunity at that bear. And in that moment, just everything came unraveled and nothing worked out right. And to add insult to injury, I drug all my friends up there to help me pack out this bear just in case, you know, and just to be ridiculed for, you know, a good solid 4 or 5 hours back off the mountain. That's just one I think of that I really just screwed up. Like I wanted it so bad and everything was coming together so beautifully until it just came
until you fell in your face, literally.
Oh man. Yeah. And to add to that story, the reason I mentioned my phone is I didn't realize at the time when I ate it that my phone went flying somewhere in a crack of some of those rocks.
Oh no.
And I never had a cell phone for the rest of it.
Phones are expensive now, but they were. It wasn't as easy to get a new phone back then.
No.
Those flip phones.
No.
Like for me, I got my first flip phone at 16, and that would have meant going to dad and saying, I broke it. It's like, all right.
Oh, I've got one more serious fail along the lines of bear hunting.
The more the people eat it up because they feel like finally.
Well, another solo trip, bear hunting in the Bridgers here by myself.
How old were you at this time?
I was still living with my parents.
Okay.
Because I was using my dad's new 4-wheeler.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And I went up this logging road and I thought, you know, if I could just get a little further up that ridge, I can maneuver up there. I'll get up there and I'll park up there, save me a little walking. So I maneuver the 4-wheeler up through this rocks and blow down timber and all this stuff. And we're talking like up the ridge is pretty steep, maneuverable. Off both sides is like straight up and down.
Oh, God.
It's not good. This is a wide open slope and this is just solid timber, kind of your classic north facing, you know. And I get up there and I park the 4-wheeler sideways and I lock the parking brake. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that ain't going anywhere. You know, classic line. That's definitely not moving. So I grab my stuff and start hiking up the ridge, and I get not that far up, like 300 yards up. And all of a sudden I hear rocks rolling, and I'm like,
is there elk over there?
And it's kind of echoing through the canyon.
Yeah.
I'm right on the spine of this ridge, so I'm like, that sounds like a bear rolling rocks. And I'm like, that is literally right where I just came from. And I turn around and I'm like,
oh no.
Oh no. That was my thought, like, oh, I don't think that's a rock.
If I go home, I'm going to be murdered. Yeah.
So I run down the mountain only to come over the little rise to see just 4-wheeler tracks going, whoop.
Oh, no.
And I'm just like, oh, this isn't good. Because I heard it rolling like all the way.
Yeah. Did you have to go down to try to find it? Oh,
it was in a pine tree when I got to the bottom. Like full on branch like that big skewered like through the plastic and like up alongside the fuel tank and the seat, like stuck to a pine tree, not a tire on it. The wheels were blown off. Like the rims were there.
Your dad's brand new four-wheeler. Was this his first four-wheeler? That's a important question.
No.
Because there's something about a dad getting his first four-wheeler that is, you don't mess with that thing.
No, this was not the first one.
It was just the brand new one.
It was his new baby. And
what was the first
I just
thought?
remember like seeing the tracks and following them and being like, oh, there's part of the rack. Oh, there's part of the fender. Oh, there's a tire.
Like your blood trailing an elk.
And now that I'm remembering, I did have a friend there with me.
Oh, wow.
Because I remember us like talking on the way, picking stuff up. So I was not alone for this one. I remember this now. And we just keep following it, picking up. He had like a tote box on the back strapped down to keep stuff in, like, you know, chains or whatever, ropes, any kind of random. And it's just the box is flung open, stuff's everywhere. And the four-wheeler's literally stuck to a tree.
Skewered to a tree.
So we get it down, like busted out.
Oh, okay.
Well, we just literally yanked and busted the branch enough to just have it tumble down onto the ground. Like, what more could we do at this point?
I mean, how do you can't, and then it's there.
It's, Is
it there to this day?
No, this is the funny part of the story. We flipped it on its right side up, and it fired right up. And we were able to like walk it. Like just walk along. On it. Yeah, just the rims, no tires, just rims, and just like push it where we had to and give it a little gas and just like work it all the way. And I remember I was like, when I saw the parts scattered, I go, I'm going to get this out of the way right now.
Yeah, and rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, I called my dad. I go, Dad, he goes, yeah, what's going on? How's the bear hunting going? I go, I've got some bad news for you. He goes, what's that? I go, your four-wheeler is destroyed. And
you didn't pull any punches.
No, I didn't know what to say. There was nothing to lead in. And it just goes dead quiet on the line.
Oh, no.
And he goes, you better be joking.
Oh.
And I go, I am not joking, Dad. Your four-wheeler is, I haven't even got up to it yet, but it rolled off the side of the mountain bear hunting, and it's in pieces. And another big long pause, and he goes, you better be joking.
He
said it twice.
Not even, are you okay?
None
Usually it's a long pause and then like, the dad trying to not be super pissed. Are you good? And then it's, I really hope you're joking. And it'd go long pause. I hope you're joking. Long pause. I really hope you're joking. That's terrifying, man.
Yeah. And so then he tied into the, and I remember just going like this, like, let him get it out. Let him get it out. And then I could kind of hear he was winding down. So I like bring it back to my ear and I pull it up just in time to hear him go, well, do you need a ride? Like,
what a legend.
Brings it back down to, okay, let's deal with this. I'm like, no. Nope, we're good.
This
Steer
is my
clear.
problem,
I will
sir.
take care of this.
And I will work it off for the next 2 summers.
So, my dad's friends for years would joke about how they thought that they had spotted like a plane crash remnants in the Bridgers, and it turns out it was just where I was bear hunting. So that was another major failure. Man. Both bear.
What was it? It's always the bears, dude. Bear hunting is crazy. It's one of the things I'm better at than any other thing. It's my first big game animal ever. With that big 30-06 I was telling you about that I could barely shoulder. Still to this day, 12 years old, biggest, most beautiful bear I've ever killed to this day. Big, giant cinnamon,
yeah, it's
40 yards. Just amazing experience. And I don't know. That was the first time I saw a bear in person. Saw it, doing the
stomp.
Yeah. And I was hunting with an older guy who was kind of a mentor at the time. He's like, you see what he's doing? He thinks he's king of the earth and has no idea you're about to kill him. And I just remember getting so jacked up. Just rifles this big and I'm shaking. First big game animal ever. Boom. Raw. And then when we walked up to him, I had no clue what a good bear was. I was like, I didn't know they could get that color. How cool is that?
Right.
And this guy's 60 years old at the time and one of the best hunters I've ever known. And he walks up to that bear and looks at me. He's like, You have no idea. I've killed 20 black bears, and for my whole life been looking for a bear like this. As it's your first big game tag filled.
Murphy's Law, right?
And, you got a hold of my dad, and him and my uncle met us halfway up the mountain, and my dad tells the story like, the average bear that gets killed is 140 pounds, 5 foot, you know. And so when Wally called my dad and said, we got a bear down, you can see the look on my dad's face. And then he tells the story later, like, I was coming up expecting, like, little bear. Like, cool, son, good job. I'll never forget my dad's face. He gets out of the truck like this, sees it, and goes, like, I'll never forget that look on his face. Because it was like, you're not going to tell me this, but you are so proud of me right now. I did it. And then it took me 5 years to kill my first deer after shooting like a trophy book bear,
So I've got 2 stories. I love to tell stories.
I know. That's what I wanted to hear from you.
Where things went completely wrong until they went right.
I love that. I can't wait for that to happen to me someday. No, I'm joking.
The first one was I was probably in my late 20s. And I remember I was on a hurried bow hunt after work. This is when I was still an electrician. And got to the spot, parked the truck, put my release on, and I start hiking up the trail, head down as fast as I can get to where I want to go, which isn't that far because I knew I didn't have long.
Right.
That's why I picked that spot. And I'm walking in, and I have this moment of like, man, you idiot. You're literally walking on the skyline into your spot.
Right.
Like, that's Hunter 101. Get off the skyline. If there's anything here, they're just looking at you. So I have that thought. And so I duck off the hill. And I no sooner duck off the hill, and I'm like side hilling through this tall grass and sage. And I hear like swishing grass. And I look up, and literally same elevation off the ridge that I'm on is a herd of elk coming dead at me with the herd bull in the back and the cows in the front.
Oh, wow.
And so I just like get down. There's a little rise to where like I'm just seeing his antlers and like their ears, and like, so it's perfect. So I get down and I can see the trail they're on. And so I range it, and it's like 40 yards down off the hill. And so I'm sitting there, and pretty soon 1 cow comes around on the trail, 2 cows, 3 cows. I'm like, this is definitely going to happen. And they're getting past me. Wind is good. Everything's good. And I look up and I see the bull's antlers coming. So I'm watching his antlers, and I'm trying to hook my trigger release on, and I'm like trying to get it in the palm of my hand where I need it. And I can feel it, but I just like can't get it hooked on. Right. And so finally it's like moment of truth. And I look down, and when I put my release on, I have a little bitty goose. Yeah. An old Scott release where it had wrapped around the strap when I put it on, and it was tucked under like right here. Right. Instead of being, out here.
Yeah, it was around this way.
Yeah. Yeah. So I literally am like, crap, I have to put my bow down, take my release off, pull it out from under there, put the release back on, grab my bow, hook on, come to full draw, and drill him at 40 yards. And he goes like 80 and tips over.
No way.
It was like everything went wrong, but it's like I always say, like when it's meant to be, you can basically feel like you did everything wrong, and it still works out for you. And so that was one story. The other one was
the sheer panic.
Oh, I couldn't believe when I looked down, and he's like coming into the shooting lane right now.
Because in that motion, right? That's a lot of movement.
That's a lot going on. Yeah. The fact I got away with it is,
he was just keyed in on the cows. And that's so crazy.
Yeah, I'll never forget being like, what is going on? And looking down and being like, oh,
and in a split second, realize what you have to do. Like there's no
time to wait.
Think. You got to go do it now.
It either works or it doesn't.
And then for him to fall over, that's so
and it was the biggest bull I had aired at the time. And everything. It was in this quake and aspen patch. It was just so gorgeous.
Man, there's something magical about those quick last minute after work hunts. I've been saying that for years. When the expectations are low and you're like, at least I get to go hunting. So often that's when stuff happens.
Right.
When you're not overthinking things or, up the night before, like planning and you just, I'll run after work real quick in a low percentage spot. And then, you get out of the truck, hike up there, and there's a whole herd just walking right toward you.
Yeah. So cool. It was, just all the little moments like this timing of being here and get off the skyline. just how it all came together. And then the other one was on the biggest bull in my life, a bull I killed in 2020. I did a film on called Chasing a Ghost.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Okay.
Love that film.
Oh, thank you.
I watch that one like once a year. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's a great story, just from finding him years ago to kind of hunting him to giving up to then finding him, not even knowing it was him until I got home, you know.
Oh,
But,
how cool is that?
but in the moment, the thing you don't see on the film is I waited for that bull to stand. He was at 40 yards as well. And I waited and waited and waited. And it was pretty high wind. And finally he stands up and he kind of like takes a couple steps towards me and he like spins sideways. And I'm like, here it is. This is the moment you've waited for your whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, because even though I didn't know it was the bull I had always
Still
wanted to, it was
bull.
by far the biggest
Yeah.
bull I had ever come to full draw on.
Wow.
So I'm like, this is the moment. Well, I had I think it was like the Fanatic hoodie on from Sitka. And
Is that the one with
it's
the,
got
like,
the
face
mask
Yeah.
and the hood. Well, I come to full draw, and one of my biggest anchor points at full draw is this on the back of my jaw. Like I
Okay.
will hook it here, and then it just like locks me in.
Oh, I'm going to try.
Because yeah, for me, I come to full draw and I can tuck it right there, put my thumb right there in the soft spot, and it just it locks me right there.
I need to get
So
a better jawline, I think. I'm a little thin through here. My wife's been saying that for years. We'll work on it. Get a better anchor point. Sorry, continue.
But so anyway, the bull turns broadside. Moment I've waited, dreamt of my whole life. I come to full draw, and it is like just like soft, all the same like feeling back here. And I'm like, and I just cannot find where I need to come to anchor back there. And the bull is, he's broadside, but he's looking the other way. And he's wide open, like the kill zone looks this big, you know? And I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. This doesn't happen, you know? And so same thing. I let down really quick. I grabbed my face mask, tucked it behind the ear, and came to full draw, and it just locked in and chunk, and it just double lung blew through him. And he went 21 yards and tipped over dead. But talk about sheer panic. To not just force it. That's the mature hunter in
Correct.
me.
And that's what I was going to say. I was like, I would have said, screw it and let one fly.
Yeah, like I'm never going to get this chance again.
Correct.
I'm close. It's got to be right about here.
Letting down, being full draw to get another shot is terrifying.
Correct.
You know? And then just praying it doesn't bounce or rattle around or make noise, or he sees the movement. But like anyone else with less experience would have been, that's probably good enough.
I would have done it for most of my life. I'm pretty sure of it. You know what I mean?
Wow. What I wonder, was any part of you thinking like, shoot, just do it? Or do you have enough reps now where you take the more mature route?
I think it just happened so quick. I remember being like, this is it, and being like,
this
crap. But kind of like analyzing his language and seeing like he's literally just chilling. He just kind of took a couple steps and he's looking the other way. Wind's blowing. He has no idea I'm here. Like, make the smart move. And yeah, I remember just being like, man, and then just letting down, unhooking, yanking this down, yanking this behind my ear. And
was your camera guy internally just freaking out?
He couldn't see me. He was across a little draw filming the bull from across the draw, and I had climbed into a juniper bush, so he couldn't see this going down. Gotcha. He was freaking out because we had zero communication, and he was down to 2 minutes of video time left. And so he was freaking out like, dude, this needs to happen, or I'm out, and I can't tell Jason that I am out. I'm done. You know? So for him, that's what he was freaking out about. But no, he didn't see that sheer moment of panic and like. But it was
probably
just
good because he could have been like, stop recording, save a little bit of time.
You never know.
Maybe forgot to hit record after.
Who knows? But yeah, the bull never even had a clue. Let down, did that, came to full draw, and it just locked in. It just went chunk. There it is. Plap.
And then were you able to just calm down real fast? Like,
once I got there, I'm like, done. This is done. it
Awesome.
was, the confidence level was way up, and I hit him, it blew through him, and he didn't even know what hit him because it was windy. I didn't call him in. He wasn't on alert. Like he
Right.
just stood up out of his bed. He
oh,
was all
What was
alone.
that?
He kind of took it, trotted a little bit, looked around, and he was on the edge of like a steep break, and he just kind of down into
that's
the
so
bottom
cool.
of the draw. Yeah,
That's
it was.
awesome.
That was another moment of I just couldn't believe that would happen at that moment in time. Like
On
how
the
have
biggest
I,
bull of your
yeah,
life.
yeah, like all the
That's
things.
so cool.
So-
I can't wait to watch that again, knowing all
What's
that's
going on.
secretly. Like, it's going to bring a whole new dynamic to that shot. That is so cool.
So those are just kind of some fun stories. I could tell stories for days.
Oh, we'll have you back on the podcast for sure. But I love asking, like, everyone's favorite hunters, like, talk about the time where, like, the anxiety, this isn't going to happen, the royal screw ups, because it's going to happen to everybody, or has happened, and hopefully you learn from it. But I love the two takeaways from that is, like, make sure things are right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't sacrifice your shot process and what you've been training and let the emotion take control, because that's where stuff goes wrong. And that's the mistakes I've made bow hunting elk over and over and over again. It's always the inability to control emotion or force something, or whether that's, I know he's probably bedded in there, let's try to get a little closer to see when the wind is marginal, and then 2 steps blown out. It's the impatience, the trying to force things when you're in a good position, that just, man, I've made so many mistakes like that, and most people listening have too. So it's cool to see
everyone that's
from
bow hunted
rolling
elk
forward
has
your
made
dad's brand new 4-wheeler and face planting into rocks and missing, to, I mean, those 2 experiences probably catapulted your ability to be more patient and not to take your dad's stuff out hunting and and all that stuff. So
yeah,
that's super cool.
So it's been fun. I love telling stories. So
You do a great job with it, guys. If you haven't watched Jason's stuff, please go watch it on YouTube. Get a subscription. Support the man. He's given me a lot. I've learned so much about bear hunting and elk hunting from this guy, and the way he tells a story is, I just love it. I feel like it's like an older brother around a campfire. Just that was a huge thunder out of nowhere. It's been like 85 degrees all day. Jason, thanks so much for coming on, man.
Absolutely.
It's an honor
Glad
to.
you came in.
Thanks for supporting me. And
Likewise.
oh, anytime, bro. I appreciate you, man. We'll have you on again, and hopefully you call in just a giant bull for me one of these days.
That'd be cool.
And hopefully I don't screw it up. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks to all the sponsors. Don't forget elkdon'texist.com for your mediocre hunting apparel needs. We'll see you on the next one. Love you guys.